Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. International lawyer Melinda Janke has warned that an approval for ExxonMobil's pipeline to supply gas to two facilities at the Wales development site that is yet to be decided on by government can saddle Guyana with another white elephant project, or one in which its people may never realize true benefits. She listed her concerns and conclusions in a public document. In the lawyer's 13-page submission to the EPA, she pointed out several matters regarding the project summary submitted by ESSO, which will be undertaking the project. Janke argued that the project summary states that ESSO will be pursuing a gas-to-energy project. She pointed out, however, that this is misleading and must be corrected, as Exxon's proposed project will not deliver energy to the people of Guyana. According to Janke, page 2 of the summary says that the gas is to be received by a planned power plant. In other words, the power plant does not exist. Without a power plant, ESSO's proposed project cannot deliver energy to the people of Guyana. ESSO's proposed project is a gas-to-shore project that is misrepresented in a gas-to-energy project. Meanwhile, recent utterances from Vice President Bharat Jagdeo regarding the Wales gas-to-energy project has left the nation begging for a feasibility study into the multi-billion US dollar facility, as the once touted no-brainer project is yet to have a final price attached to it and offer a stable price for electricity. When Jagdeo was questioned on Wednesday about the feasibility of the project by the publisher of Kaieteur News, Glenn Lal, he explained that the government is currently estimating how much it could gain from the venture, as no solid figure has been determined as yet. So far, Guyanese have been told that the pipeline aspect, which is being pursued by U.S. oil major ExxonMobil, will cost around $1.3 billion US dollars. Even this is expected to increase when Exxon closes critical contracts for the same. And an ongoing court battle between the Commissioner of the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission and a local quarry operator, Diamond Quarry Inc., came to an end this week, with the Caribbean Court of Justice ordering GGMC to grant license to the operator to exclusively mine in an area it previously said had already been allocated. Obviously, GGMC lied about the availability of mining pits, as the CCJ uncovered that the reason for withholding the license for Diamond Quarry Inc. could not be proven. Instead, the court found that GGMC acted unfairly and unlawfully in the distributions of the plots. As such, Guyana's Trinidad-based Apex Court dismissed the appeal that which GGMC brought against the operator and ordered the commissioner of GGMC, Newell Dennison, to grant a quarry license to the respondent, Diamond Quarry, known locally as Diamond, for which the company had applied since 2014. And in other news, Guyana has signed on to the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, a global standard to promote open and accountable management of natural resources. But in its third report recently concluded for the country, both government and oil companies have been found wanting in their submissions to the accountability body. It was found, however, that the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission submitted partially completed reporting templates accounting for revenues to the tune of some $2.13 billion, or about 3% of the total extractive revenues. According to EITI, the Ministry of Finance, on the other hand, for its part submitted unsigned reporting templates for Troy Resources Guyana Inc. and Aurora Gold Mine for a total amount of $3.89 billion, or 6% of the extractive revenues. Notably, EITI found that all reporting templates that were submitted by government agencies had not been certified by the Auditor General. As it relates to the oil and gas entities operating in Guyana, EITI noted that only 3 oil and gas companies submitted their reporting template signed by an authorized officer with management level, while 3 submitted unsigned reporting templates. And now let's tell you, the Inter-American Development Bank, through the Guyana-Norway arrangement, has approved up to $83.3 million US dollars to be used to construct solar plants to supply 34 megawatts of power to Essequibo, Berbice, and Linden. In a recent press statement, the IDB noted that the non-reimbursable investment will help Guyana promote its energy matrix diversification to avoid deforestation and face climate change. The projects will be executed by the Guyana Utility Scale Solar Photovoltaic Program, or Digicel. Digicel will invest in 8 utility-scale photovoltaic solar projects totaling 33 megawatts peak, with associated 34 megawatt-hour energy storage systems that will be distributed across 3 areas in the country. The 8 projects will be done at 8 sites, 2 in Region 2, 3 in Region 10, 1 in Region 5, and 2 in Region 6. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We'll take a short break.
This Father's Day, it's time to be Dad's hero. Gift him a new LTE smartphone from Digicel with over 40% off selected models. Grab the DL3 Pro Plus for only $12,000 or the Samsung A037 for just $29,000. Plus get a 30-day Prime Bundle plan for him to do all the things he wants. It's everything you need to make Dad feel special on his special day. Offer good while stocks last. Visit any Digicel store today. Digicel, better together.
You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. I'm Kevin Smith, and this is your news at noon. Continuing, labor unions particularly vocal about the adjustment of the $60,000 national minimum wage remain unconvinced by President Irfaan Ali's announcement to honor the increase until a date is set for the new wages to be paid. During an address at the 74th commemoration of the Enmore Martyrs Thursday last, more than 2 years after discussions on the issue, President Ali informed that Cabinet had finally agreed with the recommendation of the Tripartite Committee and is thus supporting the new increase. Labor unions have, however, called out the President for falling short on announcing a date for the implementation, given that the matter has been on the table for such a lengthy period of time. The General Workers' Union, which held its 13th consecutive weekly protest outside the Ministry of Labour yesterday, reiterating calls for the government to immediately adjust the wages and make it payable. Meanwhile, as of today, persons traveling to Guyana will no longer have to produce a negative COVID-19 antigen or PCR test to enter the country. This was announced by the Ministry of Health, who posted on their Facebook page on Friday that while the restriction will be lifted from today, persons 12 years and older must be fully vaccinated to enter Guyana. Back in 2020, the year that the pandemic hit the country, several restrictions were put in place to curb the spread of the virus and ensure that Guyanese are protected. But following the reduction of COVID-19 cases and hospitalization in the country, the government earlier this year had lifted almost all of the COVID-19 restrictions outlined in the official gazette. And in other news, all persons in Guyana who are living with cancer, HIV and AIDS, or any other incurable and untreatable diseases or with permanent disabilities will now benefit from the government's public assistance for a lifetime. This was announced by Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. Vindya Prasad, who on Friday said that this takes immediate effect right across the country. For persons who need to access public assistance, Minister Prasad mentioned that they would no longer have to go before the local Board of Guardians. It must be noted that if persons are registered with the National Commission on Disability and the Ministry's Public Assistance Program, there is no need to re-register. The minister's announcement follows the President's declaration of a $100,000 cash grant to every child with a disability. And to wrap things up, with $700 million to be made annually through the protections and provisions offered by under Guyana's local content laws, the government is now engaged with a battle with some foreign companies that could likely end up in court over those trying to beat the law. The revelation was made this past week by Vice President Jagdeo. According to Jagdeo, there are some foreign companies in Guyana that are trying to use legal means to bypass the preferences. He pointed to transportation services, where companies such as Hertz, which has found its way to Guyana, would not be able to provide by itself. The Vice President pointed to other subsectors in such as security and cleaning services to be provided to the oil and gas sector under the protection of Guyana's local content legislation. And just before we wrap things up, we head over to page 7 of today's Kaieteur News. Plenty things are wrong in our society, and daily we are confronted by them. Firstly, our leaders, most of them seem unaware of their duty and responsibility to this nation and their constituencies. At a recent news conference hosted by our Vice President Bharat Jagdeo, we heard guesstimates being presented as facts to justify the government's ambitious gas-to-energy project and his lack of knowledge on whether royalties oil companies pay to this country are recoverable. Secondly, we have foreigners who are doing business here, hell-bent on exploiting our locals and taking advantage of every conceivable loophole. Their employment practices and treatment of locals leave much to be desired. Then we have thieves and rapists, ruining lives and leaving our citizens in trauma and pain. And amid all of this, we have citizens, some contented with maintaining the status quo, not willing to rock the boat and fight for what is rightfully theirs. Though things may seem bleak and hopeless, we must not give up or give in. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8211.